Hello and welcome to Perfect Math. Solving a quadratic equation in a math problem can be much easier in a way that you can easily express the answers by simply looking at it and paying attention to its coefficients without having to do the time-consuming calculations for delta or completing the square, which is actually the same delta. First method. When the sum of the coefficients equals 0. In this case, one of the answers is 1 and the other is c over a. Please pay attention to this example. 3x squared minus 8x plus 5 equals 0. If you add the coefficients up, you'll see that it will get 0. So we can simply say that one of the answers is 1 and the other is 5 over 3. Let's have a look at another example. Minus x squared plus 4x minus 3 equals 0. Like the recent one, if we add up minus 1 and 4 and minus 3, we'll get 0. So we can simply say that one of the answers is 1 and the other one is c over a. Here, minus 3 over minus 1 is 3. Let's take a look at the calculations if we used delta method, which is rather boring and complicated. About completing the square method, you should know that the delta method is short for that, and it's longer than the delta. So naturally, delta takes your time less than that. Second method, or I call it first prime because it is so similar to first one. In this method, if a plus c minus b equals 0, or in other words, a plus c equals b, you can simply say that one of the answers is minus 1 and the other one is minus c over a. Let's take a look at some examples. 10x squared plus 17x plus 7. If we want to solve this equation so quick, we simply say that one of the answers is minus 1 and the other one is minus 7 over 10. Or in another example, which is 12x squared plus 5x minus 7 equals 0, we can simply tell that one of the answers is minus 1 and the other one is minus 7 over 12. Look how simple your work could get in competition with the delta method. Next method, which is my favorite, is for equations having big coefficients, like 25x squared plus 103x plus 12 equals 0. To solve these kinds of equations, we should search for two numbers which, if we multiply them together, they get AC, and if we add them up, they get B. So the answers are the negative found numbers over A. For example, in here, we should search the two numbers that if we multiply them together, they'll become equal to multiplication of 12 and 25, 300s, and if you add them up, they'll become 103. Excellent! The numbers are 100 and 3, so the answers are minus 100 over 25 and minus 3 over 25. Another example is 16x squared plus 22x plus 7 equals 0. If we calculate the AC, we'll get 112. So again, we search for the two numbers which, if we add them up, they become 22, and if we multiply them, they become 112. 14 and 8. Yes, excellent. So the answers are minus 14 over 16 and minus 8 over 16. Cool, huh? In this method, actually the calculations are rarely comparable with the delta method. Okay, let's move on to the next method, which is called factoring. This method is mostly used for equations that a equals 1. In this method, we try to find two numbers that if we add them up, they become b, and if we multiply them together, they become c. Let's have an example. X squared plus 8x plus 15 equals 0. To solve it quickly, we find the two numbers that if we add them up, they become 8, and if we multiply them together, they become 15. Excellent! The numbers are 3 and 5. So the answers become minus 5 and minus 3. The name of the method is factoring because actually we are rewriting the equation by its factors. In here, one of the factors is x plus 3 and another is x plus 5. Remember, these methods are generally suitable for solving math problems, because designers often create questions with straightforward and rounded answers. In the real world, industry and work, coefficients can be anything else, so the delta method still takes precedence. However, the mentioned methods are only effective in the specific conditions stated. Therefore, my recommendation to you is to learn the delta method and keep the mentioned method for ease and speed. Okay, now we can solve this equation very quickly. Don't forget to comment your answers.